Good evening. Great evening to everyone. Okay, my name is Michael Reeves, elite seller and national trainer with the Pampered Chef. And I am excited to say welcome. I am very excited that we are on installment 3 of Success Starts Now. And tonight we're going to be talking about show systems. We've already done a couple of videos, and if you have not had the opportunity to look at that, please make sure to go back to Michael Reeves Pampered Chef team page, as the videos are posted there, sessions 1 and 2. So I am excited on this snowy night, cold night outside, to be able to bring you some additional and then some training. For those who are just joining us for the first time, let me just say thank you so much for taking the time out to invest into your business. And the whole purpose of these training videos and what I am calling a power video is to give you some extra and then some training and help you have a successful business. So our theme this year, in the year of 2018, is the year of now. And so we've encouraged everybody to go out and get their now and later candy. Sprinkle that around the office. Put that in the car, just to be reminded that what we do now, we reap the benefits of later, okay? So that's pretty much our theme. We also talked about, with the word now, can also spell the word own, O-W-N, and that means we can own our decisions, and we need to make a personal decision to work our business now, own that decision, and then at the end of 2018, and even at the end of a few weeks, we can look back and see what we've won based on the decisions that we're making in our business. So I have had a couple of interesting questions. I want to go and talk about those for just a second. But again, I want to say thank you for joining us. Those that are watching live, thank you for joining us live. Thank you for those that are going to be watching later. Don't forget, this is everybody's welcome to participate. They just need to go to the Michael Reeves Pampered Chef team page and select join request to be added to the page. We are almost at 1,100 consultants, directors, and the home office staff that is plugged in to the training. So I'm excited, plugged in as members of the page. So this is not about me, this is all about you, and I'm going to encourage you, if you have a question, make sure you comment so that we can answer that question, whether that be tonight or in a future training. Also, make sure we have one rule here: we don't have any negative comments. Sometimes we get a little bit frustrated in our businesses, we all do, but you want to reach up to your director, to your national, to your leader. You reach up to me, and we can help you through that. So we want to create a positive environment with our team page and this training. So again, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. And so let's just talk about some of the highlights that we hit on Monday's training, which we were talking about initial show systems at the beginning of the show. We talked about knowing who our guests are, 3 different categories of guests: newbies, partially familiar or somewhat familiar was group number 2. Group number 3 were our seasoned guests. And it was very important, whether we're doing a virtual show, an online show, cooking show live, that we know who the guests are, that we know who our market is, so that we can see how, especially in the realm of a cooking show, we can cater that cooking show to the group that's in the audience. So we talked about that. We also talked about letting our guests introduce themselves with their name and their favorite particular product, having people have name tags on. Even if you are new and you're starting out with family and friends, first show, 10th show, put that system in place. Being able to talk to somebody and say, hey Denise, hey Debbie, hey Stacy, as you're doing the show, builds that relationship, makes it more personal. So, you know, how many of you already know that the Pampered Chef, I don't know the exact dollar amount, so I'm not going to try to say a dollar amount here, but Pampered Chef has invested bukus of dollars in research. On research, not only on product research, but for these last few years, they've really focused in on show experience. And we really need to make sure that we're delivering a show experience, and research has shown that people are looking for a show experience. They're looking for some type of experience with everything that they want to be involved in. So a Pampered Chef cooking show is no different. So we talked about what was the #1 product that we need to be selling at every show. And the #1 product we need to sell is ourselves. And so tonight's word, this is a power word for tonight, is enthusiasm. And I have a question for you. How enthusiastic are you about what you're doing? How enthusiastic are you about what you're doing and the different aspects of your business? When we're not enthusiastic, then we are setting ourselves up for results that we don't want to have. Have you ever looked at the last 4 letters of the word enthusiasm? IASM. And I just want to, AISM. Am I sold myself? I am sold myself. Are you sold on the business? Are you sold on the product? Are you sold on are you sold on what you're doing? Okay? And I probably should have hit spell check on enthusiasm because I may have spelled that wrong. But am I sold myself? Just look at the end of that word and ask yourself, how enthusiastic am I about the Pampered Chef? So let me just go ahead and jump right in here with the latest thing that's going on this week. And one of my mentors and pastor friends that I get an opportunity to work with every week now has encouraged me to look at things with a different set of eyes, to look on things with a little bit of a different perspective. And so this week on Tuesday, we had the announcement from the home office about what the discontinued products were going to be. Now, me personally, talking about my business, looking at that discontinued list, there are a lot of products on there that I use all the time at the show and that I sell a lot of. Microwave chip makers, covered roasters, bamboo spoons, slotted bamboo spoon set, glass cleaning brush, and we could just go on and on. All-purpose pot. Everybody's been talking about the all-purpose pot on Facebook and different things. So the reason why I'm bringing that up to you is because sometimes when we see that information, we're reactive instead of proactive, and we'll look at that list and we'll go, why in the world are they discontinuing this? You know, I look at the covered roaster, which a lot of people may not be familiar with who may be watching this video, but we've had for quite some time in our line. And when we had the deep covered baker that works in the microwave and the oven, the covered roaster came along, which we could use on the stovetop and in the oven. And then also it has a glass lid that's almost as deep as the pan. So you really had a 2-for-1. We are going to talk a little bit about some verbiage tonight on some particular products. But, you know, some people were like, oh, didn't know I had a need for the covered roaster till I saw it at the show. And that might be you tonight. You know, you're going, I never knew how to use it or never even knew about it. But that pan is lightweight. So if you have arthritis, you have carpal tunnel, you have weak arms rather, it's something very easy to lift. You could use the top to cook in and the bottom. Do garlic knots and Cinnabites in that pan all the time so that I can just, invert the bread or the dessert right into the lid and serve from it. So lots of different things. But the whole point about that being is I could get and say, oh my gosh, why are they discontinuing 2401? Or I can look at that and say, what a great opportunity. Thank you, Pampered Chef, that now you're giving me a reason to call my customers. You're giving me a reason to show a piece that I have that I'm already showing, even before I knew what the list was, that will allow me to give the audience a little bit more of a sense of urgency about adding that piece to their collection, because it is being discontinued. So if you are one of the consultants or directors who are like kind of wondering, what in the world's going on here? Why do we have so many things discontinued? And we don't have those things either, like the all-purpose pot or the covered roaster. They're not being restyled. You notice they're not in the restyled section. So we don't have a new one coming out. But just saying, we can take a situation like that, and if we're not careful, and be very reactive and get an attitude. And so now I'm just going to wait till the spring catalog comes out and see what's going on. But no, take advantage of the opportunity. And that's what one of the learning about looking at things with a different perspective has taught me, is to make sure that I'm not just being reactive to this is the discontinued list, but let's go and move forward and see what we can do to reach out to our customers now. So I want to encourage you to do that. This is a great opportunity for your customers to get cookware pieces who already have cookware. They don't have the whole sets of cookware. They may have been going back and forth. Do I want the stainless? Do I want the nonstick? And now is an opportunity for you to call and touch base with all of those products too that are listed there on the sheet. So take that as an opportunity. And the bottom of the covered roaster is not rock crock material. That's a great question, Kathy. It is actually just like our nonstick cookware, and it is feather light. I think I was going there a minute ago and then got off of there. But the covered roaster is really super, super light. So especially with me, I cannot lift the rock crock full of food anymore. And I have to get the host to help me if I'm inverting that rock crock to turn it out into whatever wrap or whatever I might be making at a show. My arm's not strong enough right now to actually do that by myself. So with that covered roaster, man, I'm like, woo, you know. So that's why I was saying, if you're looking at that going, well, what kind of benefits would it be for somebody to have that? That's one of the benefits. The bottom is so lightweight. I mean, Granny can lift that with no problem. So that's a great benefit to that product. Also, when I was talking about we had the deep covered baker and then we had the covered roaster come out. Now, this is what happened. The deep covered baker and the covered roaster, they got married and begot the rock crock. Okay, so now we didn't have to have the two pieces. So, you know, our company is constantly evolving. Products are evolving, and products are going to change. So we don't really necessarily need to get hung up on a particular piece, because usually what Pampered Chef's coming out with, bringing up next generation, is going to be even bigger and better. And yes, the rock crock's off the chain. I mean, I love my rock crocks because they cook everywhere, right? And now they cook on the counter. So with the slow cooker stand, so it doesn't get any better than that, okay? The only thing that could make it better is a little bit lighter, okay? But anyway, all right, you say, well, you can use the 2-quart then, Michael. Okay, so let's just dive right in to what we have for tonight, because we want to continue talking about the show system. And remember, simplicity helps you not to be stressed out. And one of the things as we ended the last Power Vid was to pamperize your kitchen with Pampered Chef products, but also to have your kit and your products that you're going to work with at shows to be separated, so that you don't have to worry about this thing about packing and unpacking, and you've only got one of this. And so, you know, I leave everything in the car. This is all I do now. So I have a microwave in the back of my van, and then I have a crate that sits on top of that microwave with my products, and I have my product bag to the side. So no, I don't look like a pack horse coming into a house. And that's one of the tips that I have tonight for you in looking at creating your system, is to make sure you're taking the products that you're using. And we hinted on that last time as well. People are always going to buy what their friends tell them they can't live without, and they're going to also buy what they see you utilize at the show. So there's no need having 50,000 displays and bringing everything that, you know, because that's going to be a struggle for some people as they get the new spring, summer products. Well, which spring and summer products do I take? Oh, I'll just take them all because I sold them all. All right, somebody says, why in the world do you keep a microwave in your car? Well, I keep a microwave in my car so I'll have my tools. If I have gotten to a show before where the microwave didn't work or the microwave was too small. I do lots of grilling shows. Well, a grilling show also will incorporate a microwave. So instead of having to run back and forth into a house, I'm able to take that microwave out of the van, set it right there on the table. And some of you that have seen pictures and different posts that I've done, you'll see that. So I take a microwave and have it. I don't have to take it out every time. Now, tomorrow night, for instance, there's a situation at that show to where her microwave just blew up. So isn't it nice that I have one that I can pull out and still use? Because America don't have time to cook, remember? So we want to show them the power that they have to cook a quality meal in the microwave, even if they're not actually going to cook a lot of their food or the majority of their food in the microwave. Still nice to know that the rock crock comes out looking like Granny spent all day cooking it, okay? So that is the answer to that question. Okay, so let's move on and let's go in a little bit more detail. There were a couple of questions in reference to also, this is setting up your show, about what types, and I think James West asked this question, what types of rubs and seasoning mixes? So let's just camp out there. We'll pitch a tent and camp out there for just a minute, because let me just say this: when you're trying to figure out what am I going to take, what am I going to do, what are we going to do tonight? What are we going to, you know, what am I going to pack? Well, everything that you touch in whatever the recipe is, how can you relate a Pampered Chef product to that particular step? All right, for instance, I'm going to mix up a cake, boxed cake mix. Well, are you going to use a KitchenAid mixer? The last time I looked in the catalog, we don't sell KitchenAid mixers. So no, I'm going to use item number 2685, the nylon mixer masher. And I'm going to mix my cake, okay? All right, so I want you to start thinking, have a paradigm shift, if you will. Would you take a McCormick seasoning mix to a show when we have a great line of pantry? Now, don't beat yourself up. You're just a brand new person and you're just getting started and you don't have all these things. You will get them. Remember we talked about last time, set up your own show and do that kind of thing, okay? But we want to utilize what we sell. So to answer the question, some of the benefits, you know, to our rubs and seasoning mixes are that they're gluten-free. And some of the other things, we have 3 that are totally salt-free seasoning mixes. And people with celiac and need gluten-free products, there is an issue with some of the things that they can use as far as, does it really have enough taste or is it going to add a lot of flavor? So we have a wide variety. So the question that was asked to me was, what in the world do I start with? What would be like 5 different ones? So let me tell you what I do. And like I said, you've got to cater your show system to what's going to work best for you. But I always utilize a seasoning mix along with a rub. And the number 1 rub that I recommend everybody to have is 9736, the crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. Because that goes on every single meat and every single vegetable, okay? And before I go any further with that, let me answer this one question because it could be a general concern for lots and lots of people. What if they don't like you to cook in the microwave? Okay, let me just say this to everybody. You've got to own the show, okay? The people who are at the show, just like tomorrow I've got a show, I've got 2 shows on Saturday. Nobody knows what I'm cooking. I'm bringing the groceries. All I need to know is how many people that they got coming. And now they know that they're going to have a great time. We're going to be cooking food and Like, remember at the first power video, I said what your theme would be is anything you can cook in 30 minutes or less. So we don't need to get all wrapped up into, well, what if they don't want me to use the microwave? Now, I know that there are people who have different perspectives, so we do want to listen to that. But what I always tell people that say that, and it's very few people, okay? But what I always come back to that question is this. There's probably going to be people coming to your show tonight who are going to be interested in the microwave. Now, this rock crock that I'm showing tonight, it's not only for the microwave. It's for the oven. It's for the stove. It's for the grill. It goes in the dishwasher. Cooks on the counter as a slow cooker. So all I'm saying is don't limit yourself and don't open yourself up to 100 million questions. Because if we cannot possibly ever, at every show that we do, cater to every dietary need or issue that somebody may have with a microwave or a nonstick pan. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to, you're not trying to create extra stress on yourself. If you're not careful, you'll have all these different things and feel like you've got to interview your host, and you're going to get there and it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference in a whole lot of things. Now, I had this lady one time, and she is vegetarian, and she came to a show, and I made a chicken and broccoli braid, okay? So she's at the show. Most of the shows that I do, the host usually has something else on the side or prepared, or if it's a special whatever, if somebody has a very specific diet, they may cater a snack or something to them. And that's fine. No matter what they're going to serve does not affect what I'm going to do, okay? Number two, she came back to another show, okay? Then she decided she wants to book a show. Now, at both shows, she spent as a customer over $100 at each show, booked her show, and as like I said, she is very strict on her diet. She eats spinach and carrots, the majority of what she eats. So when I did her show, I roasted a whole chicken. It was in the fall, getting ready for Thanksgiving. Roasted a whole chicken in 30 minutes, some sweet potatoes, and then she had what she served. Now, she had an $1,800 show. And I deliberately asked her this question. I said, now tell me, even as a vegetarian, even as a strict diet, and you have restrictions on your diet, are you still excited about how we cook chicken? She said, I'm excited about the whole bird. I'm excited about what I saw you make at the last two shows that I attended. And now I'm even more excited because I've had an $1,800 show tonight. Well, shut the gate and paint the barn red. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we overanalyze. Remember, we've talked about analyzation causes paralyzation. So you don't want to overanalyze what it is that you're doing. You do not want to overanalyze putting it out there too much. Well, who's coming? Are there any special diets I need to know? If somebody has a specific concern that's your host, like they need a gluten-free or whatever, that's up to you. I'm gonna leave that into your hands. But all I'm saying is the show is more about the product and less about the food. And that's kind of seems like to be an oxymoron. I mean, here you are going to go cook a recipe at somebody's house, but you're telling me it's not about the food? Well, everybody that's coming is going to be on a different level of diet, a different need, and you are not the pampered caterer. You are here to show people what the product possibly can do for them and the power the product has and the versatility of the product. And when you keep that focus as your main focus, then you'll find as you go along that it's easier and easier. I'm telling y'all, the number one stress with cooking shows for all the consultants in this company that have not yet overcome and had that aha moment and had that paradigm shift is that they are too consumed with what am I going to prepare, and therefore making it so stressful that they do not want to book another show and they do not want to do cooking shows. And the cooking show is the cooking show is the cooking show. Okay? So going back to these questions about the rubs, crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. Number one, it goes on everything. And I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of information about these as we go. Item number 9736. Also, smoky applewood 9668 is a very versatile, very distinct flavor. It's good on chicken, good on pork. I make baked beans and I make a barbecue sauce. It goes in that. Also, the 9722, the smoky barbecue rub could be another alternative. I love to utilize the Chipotle 9880. Make sure to have that. I use that in some of my Mexican dishes as well as my barbecue sauce, sometimes just on chicken. If I'm doing shrimp, I can put it on shrimp. So there's lots of different things that I can do with the Chipotle rub. And the 3 onion rub is also incredible, 9659. Now the Korean barbecue rub that we had this past season, love it to death also. So if you want to do that, it's great on pork chops, pork tenderloins. It's also great on beef, but the Korean barbecue rub. Now, one rule that I do have, and the one thing that I like to do, because again, we want to show versatility of the product. Well, it's the same thing with the pantry line. I will pair a seasoning mix to go alongside of every rub that's used. And most of the time using multiple rubs. For instance, I'm doing baked spaghetti this month. And I'm making the sauce. And in the sauce, it's the Italian seasoning mix, the sweet basil rub, the crushed peppercorn and garlic rub. And then the garlic and herb rub is used in the garlic knots. So you see how many rubs and seasoning mixes I can utilize there. So some staples, you know, that was like 5 things. I have, I'm going to also encourage you to have the grinders and have the salt, the coarse Himalayan sea salt, and the peppercorn medley in the grinders. So when you want to add salt, whatever, I make chips at shows and the microwave chip maker a lot. I do salt in this homemade spaghetti sauce. And then I also utilize the kitchen spritzer with the garlic oil. 9677 is garlic oil number. 2733 is the kitchen spritzer. Okay? And so, like every meat, if I'm doing a whole chicken, if I'm doing boneless, skinless, if I'm doing the pork chop, then I'm spraying that with the garlic oil first so that the rubs adhere and the seasoning mixes adhere to what you're going to be cooking. Only doing one side, by the way. Only seasoning one side, by the way. So you don't need, you don't need to use a whole bottle of, or one whole bottle of rub at one show, okay? Adds plenty of flavor. Rubs infuse as you cook. So if you do have this perception that the rubs all just, need to be rubbed in or massaged in, that is not true at all. Rubs infuse the flavor as you cook with them. Seasoning mixes, however, though, are best utilized in marination. And that's what our granny already told us. Food tastes better when? The next day. After what? The seasoning had time to go all the way through it. So why in the world would we just throw a seasoning mix on and then cook the food? And when we do, and we didn't use it in marination first, then what happens? The food's real good on top. And then now everybody needs 40 sauces. You got some Sweet Baby Ray's, you got some ketchup, you got some ranch, whatever. So anyway, that's just a little, and then some about how to talk about rubs and seasoning mixes when you get to that part of the show, if you want to spend some time there, okay? But the spritzer, spray the garlic oil, the rub, and the seasoning mix. Now let's talk about some of the rubs. What seasoning mixes? We just talked about the rubs. Southwest, no doubt. Italian, no doubt. Herbes de Provence, oui, oui. And I threw the oui, oui in for free. Okay? So that is also off the chain on vegetables as well as meat products. And I know the correct pronunciation is Herbes de Provence. Okay? But The redneck translation is herbs de Provence, oui, oui. I'm going to have fun even if y'all don't, okay? Which I think some of you are having fun. And then the Asian seasoning mix, of course, okay? So those would kind of be the staples. And like I say, I'm using that sweet basil along with my Italian for, you know, a couple of dishes. The herbs de Provence, I'll use that. And crushed peppercorn. By the way, that's great on the zucchini marinara. That is great on your vegetables. Corn on the cob, I even sprinkle a seasoning or a rub product and spray that with the garlic oil. You can do up to 10 ears in the microwave with no water in a rock crock. And you know, for some people who have some concerns about, well, what can I fix or prepare rather, they really don't understand all of the uses that you can really get out of the rock crock and why that would make a huge difference, not only in sales, but also in bookings, but also people's light bulbs start going off at the show. And now the rock crock becomes a product that is, I can't live without, okay? All right, so I am going to post to the page this reference chart for the rubs and seasoning mixes. This reference chart is blue, and it has all of the current line seasoning mixes and rubs and some of the most common uses. So this will help customers who want to expand on their collection of these products, but it'll also help you to know a little bit more about what you can do with them, okay? I'm also going to post the rock crock reference chart that my team and I created a while back that is broken down into beef, pork, chicken, vegetables, and even a couple of dessert ideas, the weight of the meat or the quantity of the vegetable, how long to cook them in the microwave. And remember that question a while ago, what if they don't use the microwave? Well, there's also the oven is on here, okay? So what they could do with it in that regards, all right? And there's lots of information out here on Facebook and different groups with different rock crock cookbooks, grill pan cookbooks. But again, let's talk a minute because we're staying true to this, my system, okay? What's going to make you different? And what is going to make them think of you? Let me tell you something. Support behind the product is going to latch them to you like nobody's business, okay? That's what people need. Yes, a website is nice, but even before this call, I just had a customer to call me from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and say, Michael, can you help me for just a minute? And the answer was yes. And I mean, 2 minutes. It was no longer than a 2-minute question. Are you telling people to text you, to call you, to email you, to Facebook you? Are you making all that open to your customers? Because the customer service is first. Price is second. Okay? Because you can get cheap stuff all day long and have no service to go along with it, and you're not going to get it anymore. You're like, stick a fork in me on that one because I'm done. You know, there was no service at all. I couldn't ask a question. I had a problem with the product. There was nobody there to help me. So when you are servicing your customer in that regards, being able to answer questions, being able to email this so that they can have this, and I encourage them to print it off so that they put it in the kitchen with the product, off the chain, okay? They're not only wanting a rock crock, they know that now when they get it home, they're going to be able to use it, okay? That makes a huge difference. Yes, there are 10 recipe cards inside the rock crocks too. So encourage your customer. Have you taken it out of the box? You got to take it out of the box to get the benefits of the product, right? All right, so let's, I hope that helped you a little bit about the rubs. And so when you see pictures, and I know that you guys are looking at the pictures that I post, you'll see the grinders, the spritzer. By the way, cherry balsamic vinegar off the chain in the spritzer For those of you who are replacing salad dressings, you want something different, that balsamic vinegar is awesome. It's also great on spraying the vegetables to give them added flavor when you're grilling or roasting vegetables. And even these Korean barbecue pork chops, I use the cherry balsamic vinegar on that. So, I mean, it's not limited to spraying that on your meats to cook as well, okay? So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself or too far ahead of what we're talking about, because we've really got to make sure that we are building a strong show opening, okay? And so building a strong show opening, knowing what to pack, knowing what you're going to do, taking that pressure off yourself of, you know, being a pampered caterer versus being a person that's going to show you guys some phenomenal products tonight. We kind of need to have that paradigm shift, take that stress off. So we've let the guests introduce themselves. We've told them who we are, okay? We have gone over the host program. You guys thought I forgot about that, didn't you? Okay? Monday, we went over how to introduce the people, letting the people introduce themselves. And then when we got to the host of that show, we were able to spit out the host program, okay? And we were able to say something like this, and I want to go ahead and do it again, because let me tell you something. You talking about driving bookings. When you can tell people what's in it for them, okay? Just like with this discontinued list that just came out. When you can start putting it out there, text messaging, calling, you know, posting it on your page, whatever you're going to do, and you can get people and you can tell people this is the last opportunity and these things will sell out. So have a sense of urgency, you know, offer something to get whatever, you know, put some orders together and give away some benefits, whatever, by January 31st. Actually, by January 30th, right? So you can make sure everything's in on the 31st. If you're running against a deadline, maybe some of you are having cancellations because of the snow. I mean, it's very rare that our state gets, the whole state got snow, you know, yesterday. And not just a dusting or an inch, but a lot of us got 7, 8, 10 inches, a foot. That's a lot here. That's a whole lot of snow. So, you know, what are you going to do to turn around if you got somebody calling you saying, I can't have my show? Okay? What are you going to do? You put that stuff out there. Have a sense of urgency about get it now. Okay? All right. So that's the same thing we're doing as we're setting up the show. We're only taking the products that we need to utilize for the demo. Now, another question that was asked to me that goes right along with building a successful show system was, do you get the guests to participate? And the answer to that question is absolutely. I do an interactive show because I'm interacting with the people. Now, there are different levels of interaction. So, first of all, let me just say that, yes, Michael Reeves has done 100 station-style shows, okay, when that came out, all right? But before we even had station-style shows, I was doing the demonstrating what they call demonstration style, and I would take 7, 6, 7, 8 products, and I would lay those out at the, you know, in the area where the show was going to be. And as guests would come in, and I would welcome, you know, would welcome them, and I would say, okay, make sure to pick up one of these tools right here that we're going to utilize during the show. And immediately I get this. Oh, I didn't come to do anything. I don't want to do anything. And the verbiage to prepare that is to say, oh, I didn't ask you to do anything. I just asked you to wash your hands and grab one of those tools. Now, that's how you can get them to immediately build a bridge and get over it. Because some of you that are seasoned consultants, and you'll be watching this, you can remember when we were trying to pull people up to actually use the mandolin or use this or use that, and it was like pulling eye teeth, and it was adding too much time to the show, and the show was just the never-ending show because people wouldn't want to get up. So then a lot of seasoned consultants decided, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. And then it wasn't long, we, you know, started encouraging station-style show. So let me just say this. Nothing replaces somebody putting their hands on the product and using it. It shows ownership, and they love it. Now, when you have a show and you start doing that relationship at the beginning, so we got to go back to the beginning there, they're going to feel more comfortable. Now, when they first come in, they don't know me. If they do know me, that's great. So there's going to be a resistant push. Remember, we talked about people are already programmed to say no. Remember, they're coming to support their friend. Okay? Most of the time, that's the number one reason why they're there. So they didn't come to do anything. Maybe they've had a hard day at work, whatever. So I will tell them, just wash your hands and grab a tool. Now, I haven't been doing that recently, but going ahead and putting that right back in the show because it does make a difference. And therefore, we have this recruiting challenge, okay? And I don't call them recruits, by the way. I call them business partners. And I like to sponsor people into our company. I don't like to recruit them because nobody wants to be recruited to do anything. But having this interaction with them grabbing a tool will shut the gate and paint the barn red. Everybody that's got their hands on a tool and is getting up there and using the salad chopper or using the garlic press is going to be like, oh, I could do this. They may not say it, but they're thinking it. Okay? All right. So that's something that you can do, and that answers that question. Lay out a few tools and just some simple things. Salad chopper would be great. Kitchen spritzer would be a great one. Picking up one of the rubs so you can make sure to focus on talking about which ones are sodium-free. Oh, by the way, let me just hit rewind for a second. The salt-free seasoning mixes are Italian, herbes de Provence, as well as the dill mix, okay? And if you want an alternative to Mrs. Dash, then make sure to get 9496 herbes de Provence, because it is off the chain on just about everything you want to put it on, okay? So just say it. That would be a great way to incorporate them into the show, and they're thinking about, oh my gosh, I can do this, okay? Well, guess who else is thinking about, I can do this? Your host. And guess who makes the best business partners? Your hosts do, okay? And they're going to stay longer, and because they love the product, they're going to have some product, and they're going to see the true benefit, okay? So let me just say this to you. In building your show system and building a system that works, and again, we're still at opening the show up. We haven't even got into the show yet. We're just doing all this science to why we're doing it. We're creating our method, okay? We're creating our system. So when you get to somebody's house, okay, what's the first thing they say when you get to the door? Well, this is what I've experienced. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? And if we're not really careful, this is what we'll say as Pampered Chef, as the great Pampered Chef people we are. Oh, I'm here to pamper you. You don't have to do anything. Wrong answer. So there's two things. Now, some of you guys are going to disagree with one of these, and it's okay. We can agree to disagree. But remember, I work 7 days a week, 6 to 7 days a week, and 10 to 12 hours days. So my show times, when I had show booked in that slot, I had to get everything done during that time. And there's somebody watching on this page, whether you're live right now or whether you're watching it later, that's going, you know what? I don't have a lot of time. And I need to learn how to do my business within that time frame of those 2 to 3 hours, that block of time, to where I can actually do the show, do the checkout, talk about the business, do it all, and be ready for the next one. Look at all these thumbs up I'm getting. And see, when you learn how to do that, then you see the value in this business even more, and you'll be working the business even more. So I hope some directors out there are getting excited when their teams start watching this, and if they'll implement these things, even if you think that's not going to work for me, Michael is from North Carolina, and I'm in upstate New York. Don't forget that this is a melting pot. Our area has become a huge melting pot. So I got all these different people from all over the country that live here. And I treat them all the same way. And so I'm just saying, it can work if you're enthusiastic enough to make it work and you tell them what they need to be doing. All right? So let's go back to those two things. So let's just pretend. Okay, Lisa knows. All right, we're knocking on the door. We're there at the show. What can I do to help you? Lisa, there are two things that I'm going to need you to help me do tonight. Number one is when we get done with the cooking show, with the demonstration, and I transition to the checkout, any leftover food. Do y'all hear what I'm saying now? Some of y'all need to write this down. I know it's on video, but you need to write it, because when you write it down, you start writing it up here. When we transition to the checkout, all the leftover food will belong to you. So if there is any, make sure to get all of that out of the dishes. And if you could get the dishes cleaned up for me, that's the number one thing. That's number one thing that you can do for me tonight. Number two, I want you to be thinking about the people that are coming tonight. And I even want you to make sure to watch what we're doing tonight. Who do you think would be great at doing what I'm doing here tonight? Who do you think would be great at doing what I'm doing here tonight? Okay? So I do want to make this disclaimer right now, and I don't know if I have yet or not. I don't train or teach anything that I haven't done myself at the show. Now, I incorporated that about 10 years ago. It'll soon be 10 years ago to my show. I have never left with a dirty dish. I don't have garlic Febreze smell in the car anymore. The show is packed up as far as, now we're talking about the products right this minute. The products are packed up. I'm packing the products. They're washing and drying the dishes. Okay? But I'm ready for the next show. Now, some of y'all need that because some of y'all are working full time. You're going, you got all this, just throw the dirty stuff in the clothes basket, whatever you're putting it in. It's 11 o'clock at night. You ain't washing them dishes when you get home. You got to take the kids to school the next morning, or you got to be at work the next morning. So those dirty dishes are staying in the car, or those dirty dishes are thrown out of the car, laid over into the garage, whatever. And now you've got probably 24 hours or more or longer that's gone by and before you even thinking about. You're fixing to get ready to get started to wash the dishes, depending on how fast you need them. Okay? That is the reality of what happens as far as that's concerned. Now, for those who are feeling sorry for the host and that I just put her into dishwashing hell as she's having a party, no. Think about it. A lot of people that are there, and I want you to think about it. Now, you guys have a few shows under your belts. You've seen this happen. The sister-in-law, the mother-in-law, the husband's coming home, significant other. Somebody isn't ordering. Somebody's not coming to the checkout. They are in there helping my host. Sometimes it's teenagers. But I have never had a show, where somebody wasn't in there helping her or him, okay? And that's the first thing that we get in our mind as a consultant is we are now giving them a sentence and taking time away from them fellowshipping. So, and a lot of your homes now are open concept. So you kitchen and living room, den area, it's all one big space. So that's even giving you more of an opportunity for that to even work even better in your favor when it's open concept and everybody's in the same room. Now let me say the next thing, because we got different personality styles, and I'm going to admit to this. I was one of those. I don't want them touching my product, breaking it. Woo! Okay. Build a bridge and get over it. Because half the battle of cooking is cleaning. okay? Half the battle of cooking is cleaning. When they are cleaning the product, when they're cleaning the double burner grill pan, they're cleaning the rock crock, and they're cleaning all these tools, and they see how easy they clean up, and you know what they want? They want to be pamperized. It increases the host order. It increases the interaction from she's going or he's going, y'all look at it. Did you just see how easy that pan cleaned up? I didn't have to fill it up with water and ask the Lord to bless it overnight as it soaks overnight to try to clean it in the morning. Because bam, she cleaned up in 5 minutes. All I'm saying is, look at what a service, instead of thinking it's a disservice to your host, look at what a service it is to them. They're learning how it comes apart. They're learning how to clean it. They're owning it. They're putting their hands on it. And now, when I get through with the checkout, which I'm not going to talk about right now, because we're talking about what we're doing to get our show going, and that's why I did that. That's why I did that, because the dishes, all I have to do now is pack them up. I know what I brought. I know what I'm putting back in the bag, and I tell them, just leave it all out right here on the counter. Leave it all out right here on the table. I'll pack it up. Just get it clean for me. And occasionally, I'll have to dry a piece as we're packing it up. That's very rare. That's a rare bird. Now, I know that's kind of jumping to the end of the show, but when that packing process is going on, and they've just washed the dishes, and now this is where I'm telling them about the sales and the benefits. This also gives me that one-on-one time to say, so who do you think is going to be great at doing what I do that came tonight? Okay? So we're going to wrap up here. We've gone a little bit longer tonight. We're trying to keep these things 30 to 40 minutes. I knew that tonight I was going to try to keep it within, have a power hour, if you will. Okay? And some of y'all don't mind, and that's cool. I just wanted to give you the details behind the why. There's a why for everything that happens at a show. Okay, somebody just asking this question. Do you show them how to disassemble some of the products, especially sharp items? If I'm demonstrating the manual food processor, I'm going to talk about that as what I'm demonstrating it. And I'm going to sell them item number 1689, the dual entity cleaning brush to clean the blades on the manual food processor, and say something like this: dish rags and blades don't mix. So I'm not going to sit there and over top of them and supervise them on doing it. You guys, we'll talk about that manual food processor too, because a lot of you don't know about the plugs that are on the manual food processor that you pull back to drain the water out in case somebody should submerge it. And submerge it to drain the water out, and then put the blade back on the pedestal of the vessel, and then pump the rest of the water out of it, and that will dry out your manual food processor. Because somebody's going to submerge the top of the manual food processor, whether that's going to be a customer down the road. You know, when it first came out, it had this little sticker on it that said hand wash. It didn't say don't submerge. And so in the South, when people are washing dishes, hand wash means throw it in there with the soap and water and wash it with your hands, you know. So they didn't it wasn't, the verbiage there, and verbiage is crucial, the verbiage wasn't quite there. But anyway, your products also come with a warranty. Okay. Okay. You know, so all I'm saying is kind of don't overdo. Yes, you can show somebody how to disassemble something, or you know, whatever. But are you there when they get the product out the box? Okay? You don't have to be the Pamper Chef police, you know, when they're doing that. And just give yourself permission to release that off of yourself. See, that's something too that overall, in the overall scheme of things, you're like, how in the world does anybody have time to do all this stuff and have a life and have a job and do all this stuff and plant a garden and paint a building? You know, how in the world is Michael doing all of that? Because Michael's not doing it all. Michael finally learned a very important word called delegation. and learning how to delegate just like that. Delegating the dishes. Delegating the host. Doing some of the posting on her own party. I have never in all my years ever, and I know that this is kind of a moot point right now, but some of you will relate to it. I've never mailed first invitation. Never gotten the first guest list from anybody's show because I delegated that responsibility, certain responsibilities to those people. Remember, it's their show, but you are putting the pieces together for them. You're just like this party coordinator and Pampered Chef product coordinator, okay? All right, so that just gives me that time, that one-on-one time, going back to that conversation, one-on-one time, talking about the business, who would be good at doing what, who do you think would be great at doing what I do tonight? And that kind of adds that on, okay? That kind of adds that conversation on. You can tell them a little bit about kit benefits and all that kind of thing, okay? So I love that, all right? I love that. All right, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about because I did want to hit on themes. Y'all are reading my mind tonight because somebody just posted about delegating a theme. Is that okay? And I'm not really sure exactly what you're referring to, but let me just tell y'all about themes real quick, okay? And then we're going to definitely wrap this up. Want to be a good steward of your time. Want to be a good respecter of your time, rather. Okay? These are my themes. Bridal shower / wedding show. Grilling show. Couple show. Real food, real fast. Catalog online. Fundraiser. Okay? Now, do you know what the common denominator, the common thread to all of that is? It's whatever we can cook in 30 minutes or less. Okay? At the bridal wedding show, which I think I've got 4 of those left to do this month. The bride and groom help me. I'm pretty much training them. They're up here at the table with me, and we're putting the recipe together. Okay? We have their wish list, their registry, you know, there. We can talk more about how that's done later if y'all want to. That's a bridal show. A couple show. We do a cooking show. They invite couples. It's okay if you're not a couple. You can come too. We don't discriminate anybody coming. And at the end of the cooking demo, we do a game on the back of the drawing slip. And they just answer 5 questions about one another. So it's kind of like the newlywed game. And that's how I give away my free product giveaway that night. So that's a couple show. Real food, real fast. Just whatever we're cooking, we're doing in real food, real fast. Okay? And I even do fundraisers like that. I will do them with a show. Start with a show so that people can get involved in what the products can do. And then those people that they created teams or whatnot, or people that are going to go out and sell product outside of a show or outside of online, they're now excited about the products. You know, sometimes with fundraisers, we send out all these catalogs and we get this, that, going, get it online, but nobody really knows the true value in, then I'm talking about some of the people who are the coordinators of the fundraiser via the PTA or church ministry or whatever. They really don't have the full effect of the product. So I do a show to kick off a fundraiser. And however many people. Remember, I don't double recipes, triple recipes. If they want to make additional food, that's entirely up to them. Sometimes it's what I like to call a taste of the Pampered Chef. But when you have a room of 80 people, it's going to be a smell of the Pampered Chef. But don't let that paralyze you, okay? Because some of y'all will be freaking out if 75 people were attending and you were going to be like having a food truck come behind you so that you could feed all these people. And again, you're making it about the food and you're not making it about the actual product and the process of how the products could work, okay? So one other thing I wanted to tell you tonight, and I think great feedback, by the way. Y'all keep the feedback coming, and then that way that'll help to bring up topics just like we answered these questions from Monday. I love that. I love to talk about and what you guys want to know. I don't want to sugarcoat, and I don't want to, make up something that's not realistic in what we're facing. If we can address as directors and team leaders and consultants, if we can address the real issues and what's really going on and why consultants on our team may be struggling, or they're not motivated, or it's like a one and they're done, we can fix these things if we know what to fix. And I'm very excited that the home office is plugged in to these training vids that I'm doing, because it's an honor and a privilege to be able to, for them to be able to even want to know what I'm doing at a show. And I just think that's awesome. We have an awesome company, okay? So one thing that I want to do, two things really, and then we're going to close out this video. Judy Joel told me several years ago, that whatever you do, it's got to be duplicatable. Whatever we do, we've got to be duplicatable. And so I want you to remember, as I'm giving you what I've been doing for the last 16 years at my show, as I'm giving you that information and about these systems that I've put in place and critiqued, I've got the bloody knees, I've had the zero shows, I've had the people to come to the bridal show that the people coordinating the bridal show didn't inform them that there was a gift registry and how the process worked, and everybody showed up with gifts, so they didn't buy any Pampered Chef. You see what I'm talking about? The process is important. So I am giving you things that are duplicatable. So even though if it might seem, some of this stuff is going to be out of the box. It's not going to be mainstream. It may not even be popular to some. But let me just tell you this, it works. It's worked for me, it's continued to work for me, and it continues to work for me. And y'all see that year after year after year after year after year with the numbers and top 100 trip incentive earner, top 20 every year for the last 7 years in personal sales. So that's, again, success is planned, is scheduled, it just doesn't happen, okay? So the other thing I wanted to give you about your show, I wanted to mention that, what Judy told me, let's make sure we're duplicatable, okay? So another thing that I've incorporated over the last year and a half has been the wish list. So going back to your show, I give them at the beginning of my show the drawing slip that we have with the company, an ink pen, and an index card. And the index card is for them to jot down things that they like to pamperize, or what they think they might like to pamperize their kitchen with as we go through tonight's show, okay? And that's what they get at the beginning of the show. They do not get catalogs, and there's so many different things we can do now. Some people always feel the need of giving out the catalog at the beginning of the show. I found that giving the catalog out actually paralyzed the guests, and they were flipping through the book, not paying attention to what I was telling them about the product, and looking over there at their friend and going, they're proud of that rock. You see how much that thing is? So I don't have a price check kiosk during the show, the cooking show, the demonstration. I want you all to remember that people have to fall in love, and we said this last time, they have to fall in love with the product. They have to fall in love with you, but they really got to love the product. So that's the first thing. We've got to show them the product. They got to fall in love with the product. So I don't give them a catalog at the beginning. I give them a catalog in the middle. And you have to kind of figure that out on your own, okay? No rights, no wrongs. But if you're having, and somebody out there's having this happen to you, you're having all these people with books, and they're concentrating on all of that, and they're flipping, and it's distracting you because they're not paying attention to you. So you're feeling like, they're hearing anything am I saying? Am I talking to anybody? It may also they may also be blurting out things about pricing and all of that, and not really understanding why a rock crock is what it is, okay, and how it can pay for itself in no time. So that's what, as far as materials wise, that's what I wanted to give you tonight. the materials that are passed out, okay? And then that host program. And let's just do that real quick. If we just introduce Harriet as the host of our Cooking Show Live, I'm going to say, Harriet, your newest favorite is going to be all the product that you earn for free with your show tonight. Because our free product is truly free in Pampered Chef. Pampered Chef's going to take care of the sales tax on your free product. You also have half-price options of your choice that you select. Not anything that's on the sheet for half price this month. You have the entire catalog all the time. You select your half-price options, up to 5 of those. Anyone that books a show from you tonight, Harriet, you're going to get a 50% off item or set at their show when their show holds. You'll also enjoy a unlimited 20 to 30% off unlimited discount on everything else that you like to pamperize your kitchen with. On top of that, you will have some 60% off choices that you can select from this month, and a 10% unlimited discount off every order, every time, the next 12 months. Boom. That's how I introduced my host. When Harriet told her name, her favorite product, then boom, that's what I say next. Okay? So just want to let you know, this is not rocket science. This is not as hard as we think it is. Some of us are making this business way harder than it has to be. A simple recipe choice, simple systems in place. I've given you a lot tonight, so I hope I haven't overwhelmed you. Some of you may feel a little bit overwhelmed, but just sit back, analyze, and look at that, okay? And you always want to give things, you always want to do something multiple times. If you called a firm, a business analyst, and said, I'd like for you to analyze my business, and they asked you, well, how many times have you done it? And you say, well, I've done 3 cooking shows. You know what they're going to tell you? You don't have enough data to analyze, okay? So you've got to do things multiple times, put that into practice, and see how it goes. And don't get discouraged if, the next host you ask to wash the dishes tells you no. Don't think that it doesn't work, because it does. When you get that going, then people, it's not, I don't even have to say it anymore. People know. People are booking from the bookings. And so they know. Now, I'm still going to say when I get to that door, I need you to do that for me tonight, just the verbiage I gave you earlier, okay? So I just, again, want to say thank you for joining. Please make sure, if you want to join the page, Michael Reeves, Pampered Chef team page, make sure they do a join. Make sure you tell your folks to do a join request, and it's no problem. We have almost 1,100 of you on here now. So somebody said, how often do we do videos and do training? Well, we don't have any set ending date. We, of course, are going to go all the way throughout the show. We're going to do that. Product knowledge, I'm going to give you verbiage that I use on the products, okay? Because that's huge, and I think that's what a lot of people need. How do I talk about this? Instead of just dishwasher safe, lifetime guarantee, and it's great. So we're going to give you the words to say for some of our power tools in Pampered Chef. But I'm trying to do at least one segment every single week. We've done 2 this week just because it was doable and worked out. And I also want to kind of mix up the days, not all doing them on the same day, not all doing it at the same time, just so that other people can participate in different parts of the country, okay? So I will be on the lookout. I'm not sure. It'll be next week when we do our next video, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the middle of the week or towards the end of the week, okay? Don't forget, what we do now, we reap the benefits of later. We want to make the decision now to work our business. We want to own that decision so that we can see and look back on 2018 and see what all we have accomplished and what we've won through this awesome business called the Pampered Chef. Thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Go out and make this a great week. Take the time to take advantage of contacting your customers about the discontinued products. Be surprised how many extra sales are sitting there waiting for you to take advantage of, okay? And for them to take advantage of getting that now. All right? Thanks again. Good night.